So Congress is now working to make some big changes to Social Security. Millions of people could see a drastic change to their Social Security monthly benefit checks. And if a new proposed bill is signed into law by President Biden, White House officials have announced that representatives and senators are working overtime to finally close a deal on the Build Back Better package this month. So there are several big changes to Social Security that some of you probably didn't even know. Now, because Social Security has been around for so many years, you might assume that its rules just stay the same, but that's not so. Social Security can actually change from year to year, and some changes may be more obvious than others. Here are a few changes in Social Security that may have slipped under your radar so far this year. The first big change to Social Security, everybody, is that the wage cap increase. You don't have to be collecting Social Security for changes to the program to affect you. If you're working and are a higher earner, you may now be losing more of your income to Social Security taxes. Each year there's a wage cap that's set for Social Security tax purposes, and earnings beyond that point are exempt from taxes. Last year the cap was set at $142,800, but this year it's increased to $147,000. Meanwhile, the tax rate that applies to wages for Social Security purposes is 12.4%. If you're self-employed, this higher wage cap means your tax liability could increase by almost $521 this year. Another change, everybody, to Social Security is that work credits are harder to earn. In order to receive Social Security benefits during retirement, you need to accumulate 40 work credits in your lifetime. The value of a credit can change from year to year, and you can only earn a maximum of 4 credits per year. Last year, $1,470 of earnings you got you 1 work credit, and this year it takes around $1,500 of earnings to snag a credit. If you work full-time, this change might not affect you. But if you're a part-time worker, that's a higher threshold. The higher threshold could put you at risk of not acquiring the credits you need to get the benefits down the line. Technically, everybody, Medicare is a separate program from Social Security, but seniors who are on Social Security and Medicare at the same time will no doubt be affected by this year's Part B premium hikes. And that's because those higher costs will erode their Social Security raises. Social Security benefits got a 5.9% COLA for 2022 on the heels of rampant inflation during 2021's third quarter. So everybody, I hope President Biden definitely does something to increase Social Security benefits. If you guys agree, tell me in the comments below.
Prescription drug bills and more while lowering the deficit to reduce inflationary pressures, and that's what we've done. We lowered the deficit by $300 billion so far, and it's expected. So folks, we can do these things without raising a penny in tax on anybody in this hall. Yeah. In this giant barn. Look, it's going to make a big difference for families. You know, and it's the most impactful way that Congress can address inflation right now. But even as we work with Congress, I'm not going to wait to take action to help American families. I'm doing everything within my power by executive orders to bring down the price and address the Putin price hike. In fact, we've already made progress since March inflation data was collected. Your family budget, your ability to fill up your tank, none of it should hinge on whether a dictator declares war and commits genocide in half a world away. To help deal with this Putin price hike, I've authorized the release of 1 million barrels per day for the next 6 months from our Strategic Petroleum Reserve. This is by far the largest release of our national reserve in history. It's a wartime bridge to increase oil supply as we work with U.S. oil producers to ramp up their production this year. Coordinated release with partners and allies around the world. I've spent hours and hours with my counterparts around the world trying to get them in on the deal. And shortly after I made the announcement, over 30 countries agreed to release another 60 million additional barrels onto the market. Over 240 million barrels over the next 6 months is the bridge to be able to make sure we are going to be able to keep prices down. This is the largest collective reserve release in history. Hundreds of hours of meetings with key allies, keeping them together, is paying off. Putin was counting on the division of NATO, the division of the European Union, the division of the world. Well, we spent a lot of time, but they're all following, every single one, including in Asia, South Korea, Japan, Australia, all of them. Nations coming together to help deny Putin the ability to weaponize his energy resources against American families in Europe and around the world. And by the way, we're also cutting off access to technology for him. without American technology. Look at the number of major American companies on their own, not at my urging. Over 600 of them, from Exxon to McDonald's, have left Russia. He has a burning tundra, literally. It's burning. The permafrost is burning. He's got a problem. And we're not going to let him cause that problem to spread to the rest of the world. And that helps stop the run-up of oil prices that have begun to bring prices down a little bit. As a result, countries acting together to release this reserve. And America should be seeing the savings. And we're not just learning and leaning on our reserves and our allies and partners to help bring down the gas prices and to power the nation. We're leaning on you, our farmers, our biofuel refiners. Today, I'm announcing that the environmental, and I don't think it's much of an announcement, it's already broken out pretty much the last 24 hours, but the Environmental Protection Agency is planning to issue an emergency waiver to allow E15 gasoline that uses more ethanol from homegrown crops to be sold across the United States this summer in order to increase fuel supply.
Big news for seniors and Social Security beneficiaries. Well, it has been now confirmed that millions of low and middle income households across the nation are going to receive some boosted maximum monthly benefits this month. The federal government has also just began a new relief program, everybody, and this will provide everybody with extra stimulus checks. So if you want to find out the most up-to-date and reliable stimulus check information, then continue watching this video because we have a ton of views to go over because, like I said, there's a lot of developments going on in Congress around the fourth stimulus check. So stay tuned. So right now, there is support available if you are a homeowner in the country. The relief is part of a federal program and it's aimed at aiding residents who need to catch up on any of their late payments. So the good news, everybody, is that there's up to $80,000 on offer for people who are still paying their mortgage payments. And if you're someone paying your mortgage payment, then it's a wise decision to claim this relief money. And with many homeowners having been affected by the loss of their job or reduced hours as a result of the crisis, the President's American Rescue Plan made sure that there was some stimulus money for homeowners that are vulnerable. So if you're at risk of losing your homes or in need of some extra cash and you are a homeowner, then continue watching this video and claim this extra stimulus money from the American Rescue Plan. According to the National Council of State Housing Agencies, all states have applied to receive financial aid for homeowners. And now the Department of Treasury is looking to work in conjunction with each state to set up their own homeowner assistance fund. And that's some really good news, everybody. Now, folks, let's not forget the federal program that has been introduced to provide help for homeowners who are struggling to pay their mortgages is called the